Welcome to another episode of the Migrant series. This series features the lives of different international students and immigrants who have journeyed through the UK and have gone on to navigate their careers and are now excelling in their individual and respective careers. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, and is a cybersecurity expert who works at Airbus and is going to be telling us how he navigated his journey from being an international student to securing this role and how that journey has been altogether for him. Without further ado, let's make welcome Jesse.
Hi everyone, and thank you again, Faber, for having me. It's a pleasure. And yes, so again, my name is Fidade Jesse.
So what inspired your move to UK and to doing a master's in UK?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Actually, so I don't think I wanted to come to the UK. I actually wanted to move to the US initially, but then I think when I tried and started applying to schools for masters in the US, the process was just very long. So I just decided that, well, I'll go with the easier option. But to be honest, like in hindsight now, the easy option has been God's option for me. So I'm really happy with the decision I made. I had the right people around me as well, which made it much easier for me to fit into the environment. So, I mean, a bit of culture shocks with regards to academics, like for example, academic writing and all of that, because I wasn't used to it from my background in education in Nigeria. But then, again, God really helped me to settle. And I think, just had to do a lot more reading and putting more effort into settling down. Yeah.
I can definitely attest to the academic system being different. That's something everyone speaks about, and how the approach to studying, the approach to lecturing, and even learning altogether was different. Did you have to do any part-time jobs? How was that like? Did you have to balance part-time work with studying?
Yeah, so luckily for me, I was able to get a job whilst on the campus before I actually joined the university. So that was very handy because I was staying on the university campus as well, and the job was on campus. It was very comfortable, and it was also well paying. So I think that made it very comfortable for me settling down as well.
Wow. Well, I can imagine what that was like. So now let's move from you've finished school, or while you're still in school, securing your first role or your current role, as the case is. How was that process like? Can you walk us through that process? You know, the nerves, the process, the number of applications, and how the entire process was.
Wow, that's a very interesting question. But I actually didn't want to apply to jobs in the UK. So remember, I wanted to move to America initially, and I had friends in the US. So like when they send me the jobs they were applying for, and I see salaries like 6-figure salaries, 150, 120K, I'm like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And then I start trying to apply to jobs in the UK, and I'm seeing 25K. I'm like, are you joking with me?
So and for context, sorry, just so the viewers are aware, this was before the old salary threshold.
Yeah. This was 2022. Yeah, so I was like, I'm confused. Who's collecting this kind of money to? So that puts me off from applying. I didn't apply for like the first 3-4 months. But then obviously I was in a very competitive class, and like 4 months into the program, like you start hearing some of my classmates say, we've got offers already for next year. I'm like, people have gotten jobs, you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So I think that put me back on my feet, like seeing my classmates like start talking about not even one offer. Some people had like so many offers, and they were like, they have offers already. So I think that was like the first thing that really helped me, like being in a very competitive environment that kind of spurred me to action, because then I applied to like a lot of jobs just to kind of see if the CV was it was working, the CV was working, it was a good CV. So I applied to like 10 jobs or more, after fixing my CV, and then I think I got one call back from a recruiter. I think it was McDonald's, and then Deloitte. So that was my welcome to the UK job market. I had calls with the recruiters, and then after that, they ghosted me.
Typical. That was very typical.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of how the journey started, and yeah, kept on going, and then 6 months or 7 months after, I got this offer at Airbus.
I can imagine how handling rejections, the ghosting of recruiters must have been. And I think that's also what I want you to speak more on right now. How did you handle the rejections, and how did you also get past that to, having seen the rejection today, to then make the next application tomorrow? How did that not deter you or discourage you?
Yeah, to be honest, I think at some point I was broken. Like, yeah, I never thought like it would break me, but I think I was very close to. In fact, I think at some point I was actually like, yeah, over it. But then, yeah, it wasn't too long after that I got my offer, because yeah, it can be really annoying. I remember, I think the one that really hit me the most was one of the big fours. I sat in that interview for like almost 7 or 8 hours in my chair.
Wow.
And yeah, honestly, I really felt like I did everything right, because I saw some of like questions on like open source platforms before, like past questions, and I had solved them, and luckily they repeated those questions. So I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm not getting this. And then I solved all the questions, like answered the interviews, and I was very confident. And then 2 days after, I remember I was going on, it was a theme park. I was about to get on a ride. I didn't even know what to bring out my phone. I brought my phone before getting on this ride, and I just refreshed my mind. I saw, unfortunately, from the company. See, it was as if they just poured cold water. I didn't. I was just that day. I was just like, yeah. I think that one really broke me, because I put a lot of effort into like the interview. I was very confident, and I feel like those are the ones that really hits. When you really feel like, yes, this is the one. That one when the recruiter tells you, wow, I love the interview. No, I like that one you. but yeah. It was a painful one, but yeah, you just have to get back. I think the biggest thing that kept me was just the mentality. I always had in my mind, like, yeah, after my master's, I want to get a job. I mean, everyone can have that mindset, but like, how much do you renew your mind with that? Just like LinkedIn, I became addicted to like LinkedIn, the job section of LinkedIn. Like, even after I got a job, sometimes I just randomly see myself still going through and like, I'm like, Jesse, you have a job now. But yeah, it became like subconscious habit for me. Like, I was applying to like every job. If a job is out and I've not applied, it's probably because I was sleeping or something. Before I move on to the next point, also because I like think about like job searches act like, if you're not putting in the effort, trust me, there's nothing like just forget it's a numbers game, right? The more you do it better, the closer you are to like getting what you want. So yeah, you just have to put in a lot of work. And then finally, the people around me, I think that was one thing God really helped me with. Surrounding with the right people, and we're always like spurring ourselves into action. Oh, have you seen this job? Apply. There's this test, you want to like give me ideas to know I can solve it. So like it was a really, really helpful community for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine. And you said a lot. You've spoken about how competitive the market is. And this was a while ago. I can imagine even how more competitive it is now. There's a lot of competition. So before we go further in today's video, I have a couple of questions. It's just think quick answers. Don't overly think about it. No, there's no right or wrong answer, just whichever one you prefer. So it's this or that. And the first thing is tea or coffee.
Tea. Yeah.
Would you rather work from home or work from the office?
Work from home anytime, any day.
Are you not a community person? You don't like the
Yeah, yeah, I like the community in my neighborhood.
So, do you prefer meetings or endless emails?
Meetings. I
Okay.
struggle to type emails.
Would you rather a high-paying job with little to no leave, or a moderate to low pay with more leave?
Please bring me that money.
And this is a bonus question, which is very relevant to one of the points you mentioned or you would mention, and is ChatGPT or Gemini?
ChatGPT.
Oh, wow. What would you say you did differently that eventually gave you this role that you landed?
Okay, what did I do differently that landed me my role? Honestly, from a technical point of view, like they tell you switch your CVD, switch your CV. That to be honest, I don't think that was what worked for me. Honestly, I just felt like God was just on my side because I remember after I got the job, I was just going through the application again and I realized I made so many mistakes in my resume. I used the wrong resume to apply. I put wrong dates on my resume. They told me not to. They literally wrote on the application not to apply twice, and I did apply twice. So like literally everything was against me. So I could say maybe what could I have done that helped me. I think I prepared more for the interview. One thing I did was to learn from my mistakes. I just always, as painful as it was, and like as unimaginable as it was, like, well, I did my best, I put in everything, I actually sit down and learn. So one thing I always did was one, record my interviews. And then when I record my interviews, if my friend listens to the interview and then like gives me feedback, oh, just you could have said this better. Oh, you didn't answer this. You didn't do this. You didn't answer this. So I think maybe those were two things that I did to just learn from the mistakes I made in past interviews, just so I can be better in future interviews.
I think feedback is so important, whether it's feedback from the company that gave you the rejection or feedback from your friend, like you said, which also boils down to the point you mentioned about having a good support system and a strong community around you. So that's so helpful. I think one question I would ask at this point is, I'm sure you didn't really get to face it, but that's also a burning question on a lot of people's minds, immigrants or international students, which is the big visa question. How did you navigate the visa situation, if at all you experienced having to navigate that?
Yeah, so again, I was privileged to not have to go through maybe switching to like the graduate visa. When I joined Airbus, they sponsored me on a skilled worker visa right away, which was honestly I knew what I wanted, right? And I wasn't ready to settle for less. I remember when the recruiter from Airbus called me first. Obviously, it's a good company, and then I told the recruiter off the jump, like, I have a Nigerian passport. I go into the UK less than a year ago. Are you going to sponsor me, or am I going to pass your security clearance checks and everything? Like off the jump, I wasn't ready to be beaten around the bush because I knew what I wanted, right? So I think that was one thing that helped me. Anytime I see a job, like there's a list that has the list of licensed skilled worker sponsors. So anytime I see a job, I always had the Excel sheet tab. I would just search up the company to see if they had the license to sponsor, and if they didn't, I wasn't applying.
Key point there is strategic applications. If you have the luxury of time on your existing visa and you're able to reach out to a company that does not have the license to sponsor, you can start to build your UK experience and then use that UK experience to navigate to some other companies. So just apply to your own individual context. As we start to round up and come to a close of this really, really exciting episode, looking back at your journey, what mistakes would you say you made, and what would you say you would do differently if you were to take the journey all over again?
I'll say I wasn't as proactive as I should have been. And yeah, I didn't treat it with as much urgency as I should have. Yeah, because like I said earlier, it took me a few of my classmates to have gotten job offers for me to like realize, oh yeah, I'm lacking behind. And yeah, so I say I wasn't as proactive as I should have been. Yeah. And then secondly, I would say, well, maybe not really in my case, but maybe I would say, just think as big as I could, because yeah, sometimes as international students and people from minority backgrounds, we tend to look down on ourselves and feel like the best of things are not meant for us. Think as big as you can. You can work in the best companies, the best, and you can get the best jobs that they can be. So don't think of yourself as less. And to be honest, when you have that, it will give you more confidence in interviews.
Yeah.
Give you more confidence in applying. So you're not. I remember when I was interviewing with Airbus, I was literally, before I go on the call, I was literally shivering. I'm like,
there's so much at stake.
honestly, yeah. So just think as big, and it will give you so much more confidence to approach application. You can only win if you stay in the game. Don't lose hope. I know it's not easy, but you need to really try and get back on your feet. It's also very easy to quickly get scared and worried, especially with the news, different things. One thing I did was anything related to immigration news, white paper. I don't check it. I don't listen to it. Take away things that will bring fear and that will kill your confidence, because trust me, you really need that confidence. That's all the things that are happening. And finally, do not be turned away by rejections and hurdles on the way. Yeah, it makes the story better anyway, to be honest.
Just that's so profound. And like you rightly said, rejections are not personal after all. It's not an indictment on your skills or your experience. It's just a testament of how competitive the market truly is. What resources helped you the most during your job application phase, and what would you recommend to other immigrants or students who are also looking to get a job?
Like it's a very subjective question, because different people have things that worked for them. But from my experience, I would say I'll give credit to three major resources and platforms that helped me. One was starting from resume, because I feel like resume is the foundation for everything. If you have a bad resume, if you applied to 100 million jobs, you still be rejected. I use this platform called Resi AI. It doesn't just automatically draft your resume for you. It was just a template. The template I used, they've got very good templates that helps with ATS scanning on your resumes. So the template was very good. Like immediately I switched from my traditional CV to Resi AI. I started having interviews. It's not a paid promotion, just personal experience. But yeah, Resi was really helpful with helping with crafting my resumes. Secondly, LinkedIn. Yeah, I know a lot of people have telling me I don't like LinkedIn. Well, for me, it works, right?
Yeah.
I use LinkedIn and I use the jobs section. I use the filters appropriately to filter and I always filter them by how recent they release the job. So I always filter by past 24 hours because the earlier you apply, the more bright network for grad jobs. They were always very up to date with jobs on the market. So yeah, I would say those three platforms, and bonus shouts out to ChatGPT.
Very, very important shout out. Oh wow, thank you so much. This has been such an interesting episode. Thank you so much for all the lessons and the help and all of the tips. I'm sure people would have questions or comments, and whatever it is, please put it in the chat or in the comments and we will be sure to attend to it. Thank you once again. We've come to the end of this episode. If you haven't liked the video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.